Hello everyone, my name is Malika Johal and my student ID is 1065138. Today I'm going to talk about the human rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. Firstly, I'm going to describe that things. Introduction about Aboriginal literature review of human rights of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. Analyze of the review, conclusion derived from the analyze, reflection of my understanding, conclusion, and the last references. Introduction. Human rights provide basic needs, the right of human beings such as the education, work, food, health, and liberty. It is the rule of for protecting behavior by law. It gives priority to the human being for security and safety. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander have long been deprived of getting equal rights in the Australian society. Literature review of the human rights for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. Aboriginal and Torres Strait people of Australia faced mental health issues and problems in their traditional culture. The, they have fewer good economic chances, unresolved trauma, less education, and poor employment, lack of good medical care. They have issue of equal payment of work, racism, violence on child and women. They face many problems, racism regarding work. They have a difficulty to find a work, and their women and child also feel racism and violence. Analyze contradict. Aboriginal children are sometimes killed as a victim of violence in the society. They are imprisoned frequently. They have a lack of proper education, balanced diet, sanitization, and good employment opportunities. Aboriginal children are sometimes killed as a victim of violence in the society. They are imprisoned frequently. They have a lack of proper education, balanced diet, sanitized, and good employment opportunities. They have a less employment opportunities. They sometimes killed as a victim by violence of society because society didn't accept them in a proper way still. Balanced diet, they can't get a balanced diet, proper education, their children are not educated. Conclusion derived from the analysis. Australian government should take adequate policies and norms to solve issue on the ground of social, economical, culture, physical and mental health of indigenous, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. There are some steps what Australian government should do for their good education regarding their social, culture, physical, and mental health, what they can do for give a better lifestyle, human good education and employment opportunities. If they have a good education, they have a good employment opportunities, safe housing, protection from violence, they have a right to live in a house, protection from violence. They should be safe from violence. It's not like someone go and kill them. Food, medical care to the people. They also have a right to take a good diet. Medical care to the people, all time rights generally indicate basic rights or essential need of the physical and mental health. Also, there should be some good planning to give them a good medical care so they can their life is also precious. They should also have a right to get a good medical care. Conclusion derived contradict. Australian government should focus on the basic needs of the Aboriginal people and solve them. They should focus on their basic needs like home, work, food, and solve them that issue. If they solve their basics needs, then it's good. It's easy to give a solution to another problems also. Australian government should launch the law that can further be related to planning of education. Violence on women and children, child labor. If someone did violence on women, children, government should make laws to solve them. Australian government with focuses on the basic human needs and solve the issue of the Aboriginal people. They should focus on their basic needs and solve them. Reflection of the understanding. Aboriginal Indigenous people and Torres Strait people in the Australia are the backward people in the comparison to Indigenous people. Yeah, they are backward people because they don't have a good education. Their lifestyle is very different from other people. Also, they don't have a good diet. They have different diet from other people. Most of the people are the victim of violence and racism in the society. They are also victim in the society for racism. Other people racism with them. They cannot be progressive in modern society. Their lifestyle is very different. They live in a different way. If they come to society, it's difficult to them to do progress in the modern society. They have a history of broken families and stolen children and stolen property records. They have a broken families. Sometimes their families come here and some live on the same place where Torrens and Aboriginal people live, and they make broken families. They live half family live anywhere else and half family live where all Aboriginal people live. Reflection. The Australian government has provided very limited protection to the Aboriginal and Islanders uh, because they have a racism problems victim. They are a victim. That behalf, government don't give a proper security, safety to them. They are the deprived community in the society. They are victim of a severe mental and physical trauma for all these reasons. They are victim for a mental and physical trauma for all these reasons. When they are victim in a as a racism, they feel their mental it's affect their mental health. They don't feel right at the time, and it's affect their mental health. Sometimes children and their parents are confined in prison for a long time. For this reason, both mental and physical health deteriorate day by day. Sometimes, if some are doing a racism with them, or sometimes with other reason, they just need to live in a prison. And it's facts if they don't have their any they don't have any like punishment reason to them. They feel mental and physically weak there. It affects their mental and physical health. Conclusion. This study has concentrated on deprivation of basic human rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in Australia. Australian government should focus on the basic need of the Aboriginal Indigenous people and should launch strict law for them. Australian people government should make a good law, strict law regarding them, so they also feel safe here. They don't feel racism here. They don't feel as a victim here. Then their mental health and and physical health also be good. There are some references from where I collect all the materials. I take some knowledge about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders.